We have 2 absentees, so it's going to be only 3 of us today. And I would like to welcome everybody and thank you for coming to join us today at the panel about creating value in digital art collecting. Well, I really hope that, in today's panel, we try to explore the value in digital art and how it's created, how it's shaped, probably not just through the market activity, but also from curatorial experiences and choices, community building, and formal engagements, right? I'm going to start with little introductions of our 2 speakers, and then I actually would like to straight away ask you a question about a few things. So if you also would like to adapt about your bio, feel free, we have time. We have Sebastien Borget, the co-founder and chief operating officer of the Sandbox, virtual platform where players can create, play, own, govern, and monetize their experiences using NFTs and Sand, the main tool, utility token of the platform. In addition to this role at the Sandbox, Sebastien serves as the president of a blockchain Game Alliance in 2020 and non-profit organization comprising 600 key members within the industry. His contributions to the crypto and blockchain space has been a significant recognition, including being ranked number 4 on Cointelegramm's top 100 most influential people in crypto 2022. What is not said in the bio is actually your wonderful contribution to the community since last year. I think you also opened up a great gift with the Artverse Gallery in Paris. Probably you can add a little bit about that and also what excites you nowadays in digital art space.
Absolutely. That's really the missing piece here about my bio is after so many years being an entrepreneur and like offering a tool and a platform to allow anyone to become a creator and let their creative skills speak out, I felt like I cannot just encourage people to create without being myself a collector of what they are doing and a promoter of what they are doing. So step by step, I started to collect the NFTs, whether they were collectible profile pictures or art, and showcase it in our virtual world platform, Sandbox. Afterwards, I also showcase it on screens and like physical print into our various offices around the world. And quickly, I started to run out of space. There was so much NFT in that collection of Sandbox, more than 10,000, that actually I wanted to have like a dedicated space where people could actually come, discover, learn, and so on. The one thing that was not mentioned, I was also one of the co-founders of the NFT Factory, which was one of the first flagship places in Paris that tried to bring NFT to the common of mortals and push for the technology through art. It didn't succeed, but it was a fantastic journey and adventure. And Artverse really came a little bit more as like its, I wouldn't say its successor, but like my way to contribute even more by having this physical space where I would show on the top floor part of my private collection, composed of physical art, contemporary art, and digital art. And the ground floor and the basement dedicated to run like exhibition with fantastic artists. Like some of them are in the room. We had an amazing show right now with Jeff Davis happening in Artverse. We have had collaboration with fantastic early artists in like generative art, such as Miroslav Gorala, thanks to Karin, and a lot of other collaboration through actually not only the curation done by Grida, our director and creator, but also through my own private collection and connection with artists.
That's great. Thank you very much. We have another speaker, Maurine Sigg, and Maurine is a vice president, Sigg Art Foundation. Maurine stands at the intersection of art, technology, and hospitality, and oversees international residencies, institutional partnerships, and public programming. With experience across the Middle East, she brings a cross-cultural approach through innovative technology. Maurine, what excites you most about the evolving role of collectors in digital art space today?
Yeah, I think today we are very lucky, of course, to be part of this program because, as you all know, there is Art Meta also that is happening. So we are very excited to be able to present a curation of actually 18 artists that we were able to bring and present for this art fair, Art Meta. And also it's important to mention the theme of our affair, because it's beyond the frames, and this really actually this really reflects the foundation's mission, because we want to encourage artists to be able to reflect and to be able to engage with innovative practice and innovative technologies, to be able to go beyond the frames and not just a screen. So this is why also we were looking also in a multimedia and very different also profile of artists, to be able to propose a very interesting and different also selection of artists this week.
Who are you showing?
Actually, we have Arto also that is here today for the program, and we have a selection also of Saudi artists, Lulu Alomoud, Khaled Makshous, and for us, it's important to build relationship with the artist when we are working with them, more on the long run, because we want to not just work one time with them and then it's finished, because actually some of the artists we are presenting and working with are part of different artist residencies that we had done in Saudi Arabia, in Greece as well. And this really makes the difference in the foundation, to be really bringing together these artists to build the long term, to be able to spread also the visibility more on educational platform as well for the artists.
That's fascinating. So how do you personally think, what's the how you would define the value in a digital art today? Because like you're building a lot, and you're building a lot of actually relationship with artists and the long term and everything. So it's one side. I mean, you, Sebastien, also collecting, engaging through artworks, curating, of course, with the help of a team. But still, it's a difficult question. How do we define value?
It's a very important question, and I think
non-monetary.
And I think all collectors of digital arts and contemporary as well are always asking this question, because it's hard to be able to just respond with one straight answer, because the value comes directly from the artists themselves, and according to me, it's also how they can use technology in an innovative way, because today everyone has access to these technologies. Everyone can use the different platforms. It's very easy to access the knowledge, but not everyone can express themselves by using these tools. And I feel also a lot of artists, for example, Gregory Chatonsky, that work a lot with AI. They really capture, I think, this value in arts of not just using AI as a tool, but really as a collaborator, to be able to express together with the technology to build, and this will bring, I think, the value really of their practices and how they can interpret it themselves.
Do you collect yourself personally?
Yes, I collect myself and also with the foundation. So yeah, it's sometimes hard to find the middle with the foundation's acquisition and more in personal. And yes, so we are very happy to also, as part of the whole mission and vision of the foundation, to be able to have acquisition of different emerging artists, because this is how the foundation can grow, and how we can also re-inject in different and new initiatives that we are planning, that are upcoming in Saudi Arabia, actually.
That's great. Sebastien, and for you, community building, collecting?
Yeah, I'm going to jump on that topic, but first of all, like, don't take me as an expert on the topic. I really started like 2 years ago. I think like the first thing is like just come, observe, listen, watch, try to listen what people who have been many years in the space or like what recognized artists are doing, And then as you look at an art piece, like do you consider like value can be very subjective first. It can be just like personal value, personal attachment, like wow, I have an emotion when I see this artwork and I want to just keep it for myself for decorative purpose because I want to have a connection with the artist and so on. Or value can be beyond the financial value, but you will see like financial value is a reflection of anyway like the success of a piece, and so like it's for me it's impossible to detach the two of them. But I always ask myself like what is this concept? Is this concept relevant? Is this concept going to stay relevant in 10 years? Is the concept just about the use of the tool and the technology, and is it right now hype because like it's the trend to use the technology, or did the artist actually understood what he did with the technology and had some level of control on the output, curation, but much more, and in understanding what he actually gave out to the machine and what the machine gave back in return to him, whether through the code, the algorithm, writing the code and the algorithm by himself, or not even understanding what's happening behind the scene until there is some work, artwork being produced. And those are difficult questions, and we can appreciate in different ways the answer of the artist, but the conversation you will have with the artist to challenge them about that process of work, of what used to be before the digital world and computation, visiting the studio of the artist to see how they produce the work, for me, it's part of the value. And so basically, content generation is so commoditized with AI, with the computer technologies that, and even with platforms like Sandbox, like I encourage anyone to become a creator. I didn't say I encourage anyone to become an artist. For me, there is a step forward to what the big difference between the two. But that does mean that we have to be, as collector and curator, more selective and appreciate the work that's done, but also understand how we, as collector of the work of some artists that we choose through that process, help them to that journey to become more recognized for like the actual intrinsic value of their work or the strength of their concept, building out community. So you're right that in the way that for me, community represents essentially the network, the connection that you have, and like the larger the community and the healthier the community, in the sense like you bring people who buy multiple times, and also you bring new people constantly that will keep supporting an artist, talk about it, even if they don't necessarily speak or buy all the time from the artist. At least they are here to support them at events. They are here to make new introduction that can benefit the artist into like getting new exhibition, new collaboration that contributes to what I would call the value of the artist. And this is what I'm seeing right now here at Art Meta. This is what I'm seeing at Art Basel, and this is what we're trying to do with Artverse as well. Many of the collaboration that I had at Artverse actually came because I first connected with the artist by acquiring an artwork, a meeting, listening to the artist, starting to understand the concept and the physics, buying, and then creating an event, bringing new people, not necessarily in Web3, to attend the event, to see, to learn, and then expanding a network toward it. So that's how I approach value.
That's wonderful. You touched upon multiple things that actually I would like to stress a little on. First of all, you said like value, commercial value kind of comes automatic when it's a successful art, let's say. But what's the success then? You know, like how do we define the success? In traditional art world, if we reference that, let's say, maybe you're an expert. What do we define in traditional art world? What is a successful and also, let's say, well-received artist or artwork? And that's valuable one. That the ones that ended up to be in a museum show or in a museum collection. Do we apply the same rules here? Do we want to see the traditional institutions also being active? You know, do we want to see, you know, the community more liking it, but paying, let's say, $10 for the work? Or we want to see, you know, maybe one collector liking it and paying 10 million for the work?
Oh, right. Well, I think like without going to the too much extremes, like you need to have like millions-dollar work and collectors. I think like the commercial success of an artist is a reflection of the demand on the market, and like actually artists who are starving because they are not generating a revenue are likely not to continue keeping being an artist and being recognized and being praised and developing a network and so on. So you need a certain form of like at least being able to become sustainable into your practice, being able to purchase or have patrons or support to be able to produce your work, because it's costly. Even in the digital art world, it's not because we are using computers that it doesn't cost to have a team or a studio behind to make like 3D, video, music, animation, and so on. All of that are like people you pay salaries for. And so that needs to be factored in the cost. And if you're not able to get collectors behind, like you will quickly stop, just like any startup business or entrepreneur, like you just run out of runway and you cannot continue. So to me, maybe because of my entrepreneurial background, there is this notion of success where you need to be recognized to be able to continue. The second is like you can have the distinguished esteem of being recognized and part of museum and institution, etc. I think it's part more of the traditional art world, and it's great, but does it bring food on your plate? Does it allow you to keep building? And so you have always to find that balance.
Exactly my point, yeah. So maybe
you know, I also follow Sebastien because, of course, even in the digital art world, it's very important to have the support from institutions that can back up also the digital artworks, because this, as Sebastien was saying, this is also going to nourish the market. This is also going to encourage also newcomers and new collectors to be coming also like in this market. And I think, you know, like also the reason of these panels, programs, art fairs as well, digital art fairs are very essential to be able to educate people of what is the digital art, because we sometimes we don't think of all of the different medias that actually go beyond just a frame, just a screen. So definitely very important to have the institution that can support and give differently the success to the artist.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, we're on the right track. I just, like, you know, because we are talking still about the I don't want to call it NFTs. I really don't like the word. Let's call it art on chain, Web3, and everything has been, you know, like culture in Web3. Talking about that, how, like, you know, we are a little bit faster than traditional art world, right? So we also engage with communities, and we have many exhibitions, for example, and drops and collections and platforms and new entities coming in and building something. And I think we're also quite more, at least supportive towards another, you know, like Digital Art Mile, for example. It's a good, beautiful example. But how do we build trust and connection beyond this speculative interest that many let's say, blame us for, you know, particularly after 2021, 2022, that there was a lot of speculation in the market and everybody was pointing fingers and saying, no, it's just, you know, money making.
Well, there's been different phases. Like we must recognize, first of all, like speculation was helpful to bring sufficient attention so people could realize massively that there was actually a possibility for a market of art on chain, and like possibly a new way for artists to disintermediate and like get some recognition and monetization behind. Like the best example of that is a $69 million sale of the Beeple. Remove that from the art history, and then who in this room would actually care even about NFT if some artist sold it for €1,000, $10,000, something like that. So that was this defining moment. Then now markets have corrected. We have started to identify who are like the blue chip artists, the one that keep selling. We were talking on stage about Xcopy. We had Tyler Hobbs. We have Jeff Davis. We have a few like strong artists recognized and valued already, and like are like of almost safe value nowadays. And that's important. Now, I believe like the value of the blockchain is actually stronger to build the trust, because like you can see over time the provenance and like the exact state of the market from all the previous collections that did minted across all those different chains. or marketplace by the artist. And it's something that doesn't exist that much, and that's why you need to have like services like ArtNet and the other in a traditional art. So when you try to buy an artwork from a traditional art gallery, you don't really know what were the price, who was bought it, like how many copies exist, have been sold. So how do you build trust in one of the most opaque markets? And some people say that this market not only is opaque, but there is like a lot of like practice that are like very unfair, and if the market was transparent and regulated, should be actually unlawful. So the blockchain is trying to prevent that by having the transparency. People can see who bought from who, at which price, and who's still holding certain artists, and so on. And I do believe that it's healthier if you want to bring new collectors who in like this more data-driven world.
Any comments?
Yeah, it's hard to add after Sebastien, because of course he highlighted everything, but I think definitely another touch that we can add of the trust of the market is also the ecosystem and the community that us as foundation, institution, or private are able to create and to build together. And it's really together because it's the artists with the collectors, with the key opinion leaders as well. And it's I think it's really to be able to bring them together in the same room. And this will also bring the trust, because they can benefit each of them from their different vision, from their different expertise, and this enables them to understand also what a curator or what an artist is trying to express or trying to collect for collectors. And this will also have a different approach, more on the human basis as well. And I feel in digital artwork we are seeing it a lot even more, because we are living with emerging artists, new artists that are accessible also to build this trust together.
Thank you. What are the major shifts that you have seen or experienced for the last, let's say, 1 year, 18 months, that influence the way you curate or collect?
I think it's the evolution of technologies that evolve so quick. So you can be an expert one day, and then all of the language system are evolving and changing and updating. So it's I think very important to notice this shift, because it's important to keep also like with the different innovation, because all the artists, they try to be in the market, they try to impress also the collectors, because they have already a lot of choice, a lot of accessibility to the previews, to the artworks, as you were seeing in the different platforms that we have today. And so this will also like really make the difference to be able to bring them.
Thank you. And you, Sebastien?
Well, I guess like the use of AI technology has been like what have been the most disruptive into like the content and art production over the last 1 or 2 years. But for me, like the more interesting question has been like how it's the value perception of it has already shifted over time. Like first, people were excited just by any output that came from Midjourney or other tools, and now like people start to already try to have a better understanding of like how much of AI was actually used into the output, how much of the artist actually did put some work into like correcting some of the artifact from like the 6-finger hand and so on the artwork, or actually left it on purpose or not. And now like what I'm interested in as well is I'm starting to see like, okay, like the AI is a technology, and that there will be many more in the future that will evolve, but like it's the history of the progression of the technology. And so like now like we're looking at like the early days of like, for example, GAN network, and how pictures were actually generating through training data set, and the very first generation of computer built or made images, which I start to also value a lot more in terms of like both the storytelling and understanding the provenance and the process leading to what we have today.
That's very nice that you mentioned that, because I think it's all part of like education, right? Self-education or education within the community. And I think somehow through both of you, from various practices, you do contribute a lot about the education, right? Maybe you can share a little bit, where, how, and anyone can join anything what you're doing or planning to do, in the future?
I think a good example is the artist residency that we are doing. And as you know, we are doing a lot of artist residency in Alula in Saudi Arabia. And actually it's a kingdom that has recently opened to tourism. And I think for the foundation to be positioned in Alula in Saudi Arabia for their artist residency program is very important for the education and for the local community, because you have to imagine that they didn't had all of this cultural asset, all of this cultural education and sensibility that we in Europe or anywhere else had, because and so the residency program that we are organizing with the international artists and also Saudi artists really enables for the local community to be more sensible, educated about the programs, because they directly meet with the programmation and the artists that we bring in Saudi, and we notice actually a lot of interest from all different age and sectors as well, that were very impressed to be able to learn themselves about their culture, about their different practices, because also what the artists are bringing is to also adapt and research about the on-site specific specifications. So this also enable to spread visibility and education to the different communities.
While I still have you, what are the cultural differences you also experience, because you've been exposed to both Europe and Middle East, in terms of acceptance and interest?
I think it's really the access to knowledge that was the difference, because they didn't have the platform. Today we have all the platforms, but they didn't have all of this access to technologies and also to different innovatives. So this is really the key. I think the access to knowledge in the country, in the kingdom, that really makes a difference.
Thank you, Sebastien.
I think education is central, but not academic education, more experiential. We've done that at Sandbox, onboarding millions of creators for the first time, and I took kind of the same recipe with Artverse. Maybe we couldn't call ourselves an hybrid gallery, because our space can be privatized. We're hosting event while we keep the actual exhibition going, which bring new audiences, people who are coming from very different background in different industry, but discover digital art and new artists and are inspired by them, and maybe will ask questions, maybe will become collectors. The fact that we also have this physical space in the 3rd arrondissement of Paris, which is where a lot of traditional and contemporary art gallery are located, brings just passerby from the street who enter, ask questions, and so on. So allows us to have privileged conversation with people who are out of our space, out of our industry, and start to learn at this. And I think that will spread a movement little by little, that building hopefully a new community and understanding of what we are doing. We also want to educate artists, because through the various opening and events, we have traditional artists who have been in practice for 20, 30, 40 years and don't know how to step into digital art and NFTs. So we run various workshops. We partner with program like Leo Academy or training to use of AI and other tools for them to leverage their knowledge and allow them to express what they want to do with their art without being constrained by the barrier of technology that they don't necessarily need to master themselves.
Thank you. I think we have our time run out. And do we have time for the questions, if any? No. Oh.
All right.
We are all here anyway, the whole week. So if you do have questions and you would like to learn more about collecting or value in digital art, we have various already events, so please come visit us. Thank you. Thank you very much, Maurine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you very much, Sebastien.